Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. Abdullah Oduro with Quran Q&A. We have a question here that states, can you please suggest short passages to memorize and read during Salah? Firstly, it's very important, and I'm not sure if you have been able to memorize this chapter yet, but the first chapter called the opening, which is called Al-Fatiha. This chapter is a chapter that's every Muslim is obliged, it's obligatory to recite it in their prayers. If you haven't memorized that chapter, it's 7 verses. I highly encourage you to memorize this chapter, being that your prayer can be considered invalid without it. That's if you have memorized it. But if you haven't, I implore you to memorize this chapter, inshallah. And one easy way to do that is to, some people that I've known, you get Post-its, you put them on your refrigerator, you put them in different areas, not like in the bathroom, but in your refrigerator, in the door to your room, places that you'll see. And you take the opportunity to look at that verse and recite it. If you don't understand Arabic, get the transliteration of the Quran and recite the transliteration. I'm not a big fan of transliteration, but taking the transliteration as a means to get to that goal of reciting the chapter of Fatiha. Secondly, after that is the last 3 chapters of the Quran, being Surah An-Nas, the chapter of An-Nas, Surah Al-Falaq, the chapter of Al-Falaq, and Nas is mankind, and Al-Falaq is the daybreak, and Surah Al-Ikhlas, and the chapter of sincerity. These are the last 3 chapters of the Quran. There are many virtuous things that are mentioned on these chapters, being that they protect you from evil spirits, and also we find that from the evil spirits, it can protect you from things that can harm you physically also. And reciting this before you go to sleep 3 times each, there are many virtuous things that have been mentioned in the Sunnah of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, in reference to these 3 chapters. These last 3 chapters are small verses. They're easy to recite, and they're therefore being easy to memorize. So in conclusion, first starting with the chapter of Al-Fatiha, if you haven't memorized that, and if you have memorized that, move on to the last 3 chapters of the Quran. And if you're able to get those 3, then move upward from Nas all the way to Qaf, the chapter of Al-Qaf. And many scholars have advised in memorizing from Qaf to Nas, because it has a lot of wisdom and a lot of rulings in Islam. But for you as someone that's beginning, to start with the last 3 chapters of the Quran, being that the verses are short and they're very eloquent in their meaning, and they have a lot of virtuous characteristics attributed to them, that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, has mentioned. If you have any other questions, put your questions below in the comments. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you and to preserve you and to make you of the people of the Quran. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. Thank you.